You probably think you're being productive by answering emails while watching this video, but you're actually making yourself less smart with every single second that passes. If you finish your 8-hour workday feeling like you did everything but somehow accomplished nothing at all, you're caught in a trap that is literally rewiring your brain to fail. We live in a world that treats being busy like a badge of honor. We brag about how many things we can do at once. We take pride in having 50 tabs open in our browser, a podcast playing in one ear, and a conversation going on in a text thread all at the same time. But here is the scary truth that nobody wants to admit. Multitasking is a total lie. Science shows us that trying to do more than one thing at a time can actually reduce your productivity by 40%. That is like trying to run a race with one leg tied behind your back. You are moving, sure, but you aren't going anywhere fast, and you are going to be exhausted by the time you reach the finish line. Today, I want to show you why the most successful people in the world don't multitask. They do the exact opposite. They practice something called monotasking, and it is the secret superpower that can help you reclaim your brain, your time, and your sanity. Most of us believe we are multitasking, but the human brain is actually physically incapable of doing it. Unless one of the tasks is totally automatic, like walking or breathing, your brain cannot process two high-level activities at once. What you are actually doing is called task switching. You are rapidly jumping your attention from one thing to another, back and forth, hundreds of times an hour. Think of your brain like a car. Every time you switch tasks, it is like slamming the car into reverse while you're going 60 miles an hour down the highway. It takes a massive amount of energy to stop, pivot, and start again. This is what scientists call the switching cost. Every time you glance at a notification on your phone while you are trying to write a report, you lose a little bit of your mental fuel. Even if you only look away for 2 seconds, it can take your brain up to 23 minutes to get back into a state of deep focus. Imagine a professional named Mark. Mark is sitting at his desk trying to finish a big project for his boss. He starts typing, but then his computer pings with a Slack message. He stops, reads the message, and sends a quick reply. Then he goes back to his project, but he can't remember where he left off. He has to reread the last 3 paragraphs to find his place. Just as he gets going again, his phone lights up with a news alert. He checks it. Then he remembers he needs to order cat food, so he opens a new tab. By the time an hour has passed, Mark has written maybe 3 sentences, but his brain feels like it just ran a marathon. He has plenty of half-baked ideas and a few typos he didn't notice because his brain was never fully present. This is the busy trap. Mark felt busy, but he didn't actually produce anything of value. There is also a dark side to this constant switching. Our brains are hardwired to love new things. Every time you get a new notification or a new email, your brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine. This is the feel-good chemical that makes you want to keep clicking. It creates a false sense of progress. You feel like you are getting things done because you are responding to people, but you are actually just becoming addicted to the distraction. This leads to what researchers call the stupidity effect. A famous study from the University of London found that people who multitasked during cognitive tasks experienced an IQ drop of about 10 points. To put that in perspective, that is the same drop you would experience if you stayed up all night, or if you were a heavy smoker of marijuana. You are essentially making yourself less intelligent just by trying to do 2 things at once. So, what is the alternative? It is monotasking. This is the simple yet incredibly difficult practice of giving 100% of your brain power to one single task until it is finished or until a set period of time is up. It sounds easy, but in a world designed to distract us, it is a revolutionary act. When you monotask, you allow your brain to enter what psychologists call the flow state. You might know this as being in the zone. This is that magical moment where time seems to disappear, your self-consciousness fades away, and you are performing at your absolute best. You aren't fighting yourself. You aren't looking at the clock. You are just doing the work. Think about a professional chef in a high-end kitchen. They use a concept called mise en place. It is a French term that means everything in its place. Before the rush starts, they focus entirely on prepping their station. They don't try to fry a steak, chop onions, and write a menu at the same time. They focus on the onions. They chop them perfectly, with total concentration. Once that is done, they move to the next thing. By doing one thing at a time with total focus, They're able to serve hundreds of perfect meals in a high-pressure environment without losing their minds. If they tried to multitask the way we do in our offices, the kitchen would be a disaster. The food would be burnt and someone would probably get hurt. This idea is closely linked to what author Cal Newport calls deep work. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It is a skill that allows you to quickly master complicated information and produce better results in less time. When you monotask, you clear away the brain fog. You no longer feel like you're looking through a dirty window. Everything becomes sharp and clear because your brain isn't trying to manage 5 different streams of information. You are giving your neurons a chance to fire in sync on one single goal. The benefits of monotasking go way beyond just getting more work done. It actually changes how your brain functions and how you feel throughout the day. For starters, your memory gets a huge boost. Have you ever been reading a book while the TV was on, only to realize you have no idea what you just read for the last 3 pages? That is because your brain didn't have the resources to move that information into your long-term memory. When you monotask, you encode information more deeply. You learn faster, and you remember what you learned for much longer. It also significantly lowers your stress levels. When you are multitasking, your body is in a constant state of fight or flight. Your brain perceives the mountain of unfinished tasks and constant interruptions as a threat, which spikes your cortisol levels. Cortisol is the stress hormone. High levels of it make you feel anxious, irritable, and physically tired. Monotasking does the opposite. It creates a sense of calm control. When you decide to just do one thing, you give yourself permission to ignore everything else. That mental permission slip lowers your heart rate and lets you breathe. You feel like the master of your environment rather than a victim of your inbox. Let's look at 2 students, Sarah and Leo. Sarah studies for her exams with Netflix playing in the background and her phone sitting right next to her textbook. She spends 4 hours studying, but every few minutes she looks up at the screen or responds to a text. Leo, on the other hand, goes to a silent library. He leaves his phone in his bag and decides he is only going to study biology for 60 minutes. After that hour, Leo has learned more than Sarah did in 4 hours. He is also much less stressed. Sarah feels like she worked all day and still doesn't know the material, while Leo feels accomplished and has the rest of his evening to actually relax without guilt. To start seeing these results, you don't need to change your whole life overnight. You can start with the 20-minute rule. Set a timer for just 20 minutes and commit to doing one single task. No checking your phone, no opening a new tab, no getting up for a snack. If 20 minutes feels too long, start with 10. The goal is to build your focus muscle. Just like going to the gym, your ability to stay on task gets stronger the more you practice it. Another huge strategy is digital minimalism. The biggest enemy of monotasking is that little rectangle in your pocket. If your phone is on your desk, even if it is face down, it is draining your brain power. A study showed that simply having a smartphone within reach reduces cognitive capacity. The best thing you can do is put your phone in another room or in a drawer while you are working. If you can't see it, your brain doesn't have to use energy to ignore it. I know what you are thinking. This sounds great in theory, but my boss expects me to reply instantly. Or my kids need me, or I just get so bored after 5 minutes. These are real challenges, but they can be managed. The boredom you feel is actually a sign of withdrawal. Your brain is so used to the constant hits of dopamine from social media and notifications that when you take them away, it starts to panic. It feels like an itch you can't scratch. The secret is to sit with that boredom. When you feel the urge to check your phone, just wait. Take a breath. Remind yourself that you are in control, not your devices. After a few minutes, the itch will fade, and you will find yourself sliding into focus. You also have to manage the people around you. We often feel like we have to be available 24/7, but that is rarely true. Most emergencies can wait 30 minutes. Try telling your co-workers or your family, "I'm going into focus mode for the next hour to get this done. I'll check back in with everyone at 2 o'clock." Most people will actually respect that. They might even be inspired to do the same thing. Learning to say no to interruptions is really just saying yes to your best work. You are protecting your time so that when you are finished, you can give those people your full, undivided attention rather than being half present and distracted. Your physical environment matters too. A cluttered desk leads to a cluttered mind. If you have mail, snacks, and gadgets scattered all over your workspace, those are all visual cues that pull at your attention. Spend 5 minutes clearing your space before you start a task. It signals to your brain that it is time to work. It creates a sacred space for your concentration. To wrap this all up, remember that multitasking is not a skill. It is a bad habit. It makes you slower, more stressed, and less creative. Monotasking is the real superpower of the 21st century. By doing one thing at a time, you're going to get better results, you're going to feel calmer, and you're going to have more free time to actually enjoy your life. I want to give you a challenge for the next 24 hours. Pick one task, just one, and do it with 0 distractions. Whether it's writing an email, eating your dinner, or having a conversation with a friend, put the phone away and give that one thing your entire brain. See how it feels. You might be surprised at how much more you enjoy the experience and how much faster you get things done. What is the one task you struggle to focus on the most? Is it work, studying, or maybe even just relaxing? Let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear your experiences with trying to stay focused in this crazy world. If this video helped you find a little more focus today, go ahead and watch this next video on how to build a morning routine that actually lasts.